All right. Welcome back to Hollywoodnorthradio, where the celebrities come to play. I am your host, Big C. Can't forget the one and only DJ Quiet Storm and Nene. Y'all already know. What's good in sports with John Rozier and Kai Stewart. You can catch that. That was our first installment for today. Our second installment was Brandon T. Jackson. He is an actor and a comedian. Funny dude. Y'all got to go back and check out that interview. But right now, it's time for our second guest. He goes by the name of Septimius. I hope I'm pronouncing this correct. We're going to find out very shortly. He is going to join us live. He's going to invite him in. Now he just has to click the, here we go. And then we're Gucci. And we'll be on with Septimius. He's a dance music artist. He is an actor and a model. So we're going to delve into his life and we're going to find out a few things about him that you did not know. So stay tuned. Hold on. He's going to come in any second now. Just send the request and you can follow him at Septimius the Great right here on Hollywood North Radio. Show your support. All right. Okay, let me see here. All right, let's see. Septimius the Great. He says 1 sec. Here we go. That's all right. He said 1 sec. All right, bet. He's going to be coming in very shortly. It's technology. Sometimes it'll get you, bro. It says Septimius is unable to join. Click off, click back in, and then click the button that says join the live feed. Okay, here we go. We're waiting on him to pop in. I'm going to send another request. Let me see here. Hold on. Hold tight, y'all. Hold tight. Kate Fields, good looking out on that Brandon interview, as well as Upscale PR. Appreciate that. That was funny as hell. Okay, here we go. There we go. Welcome to the show, man. Welcome to Hollywood North Radio.
What's going on?
Hey, man, just, every day is, it's a grind and a struggle, man. I see you doing your thing. Steady.
It's always the grind, man. Always the grind.
Mm-hmm. So how you been, man?
I've been real good. Really good. Really, really good. Staying busy, staying positive, being creative.
That's all we can do, man. Isn't it funny how we have to actually say it in that way? Staying busy, staying positive. It's kind of crazy when you think about it, right?
Roller coaster.
Right. And you seem like you're in good spirits, man.
Always, man. I can't even afford to even focus on the negative because there's too much out there. So every positive I get, I hold on to that.
Okay. So where are you located right now?
I'm in San Jose, California. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but originally from Baltimore, Maryland. But I've been out here about 9 months now, almost a year.
Okay. You liking it out there?
No.
You want to go back home?
No, definitely not the East Coast. But I am going to be relocating down to Southern California with you guys in about 2 months.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, it's your first time on the show. Thank you. We welcome you to the show. How we like to break down things on the show, like I always say, it's like a script. You go from the beginning to the end. We'll go through your life. We'll talk about a few things.
Okay.
So I normally don't like to sit and dwell on all the things that you've done in the past when we got the future and the present to talk about. So we'll start back there. And you're a triple threat. So I kind of want to ask, I guess I got to phrase the first question is like, when was the first time you fell in love with the arts? Just period.
Well, I think the arts period has been always in my life because I would say high school, really. High school kind of like I kind of like cracked the egg, as you want to say. So with the modeling thing, because I didn't never wanted to be like talking or in front of people. I kind of like did the model thing because you was quiet, but you was on stage, and it kind of started growing from there. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And then you decided to go into do dance music.
That was by fluke, man. For real, it was all fluke. I went through a breakup back in 2010,
mm-hmm.
and I said that I want to look at all the things I did wrong, all my faults, all my flaws, and I wanted to recreate myself. So I told my friends I'm going to be a music artist. And my friends was like, "You are absolutely out your damn mind. You don't know nothing about music." I sure don't, but watch this.
So now, okay, what was the name of the first song that you dropped?
Well, the thing about it is the most popular song I have is called I Am Fashion. So the I Am Fashion song was my very first song, like ever being in the studio, ever writing, ever been, helping out with beat production and all that kind of stuff. So I was a complete virgin.
Right.
So what I had is that song kind of carried me all through the years. But now I'm more of a I wouldn't say seasoned, but I'm a little bit more comfortable with being a music artist now. So I flipped it again. So now it's I Am Fashion 2.0, which just came out a few months ago.
Okay, I see a little something on the wall back there. It looks like a Grammy.
Yeah, a little something. I'm a Grammy voting member, but I've been on the Grammy ballot like 9 times so far. I never made it to nominee status for my own project, but last year I was a Grammy nominee on a compilation for a dance album with Tin City.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Hey, man, it all counts. It all falls into the same category.
You got that right. But something I was playing around with, we're having fun, and then now I'm like, oh, wait a minute. About a couple of years ago, this is getting serious. Let me find out what's going on. My copyrights, my trademarks, I had to make sure all that was lined up. Yeah.
Yeah, you gotta like, I gotta own my own material. I gotta own all my bats, my reels, my everything.
Right. Exactly. Yeah.
And what was okay? So I'm gonna come back to that question, bro. I'm gonna go back to modeling. When you were coming up as a model, around at 15, what were some of the differences you knew, like you started to see as a male model that was different from a female model?
That's a good question. I guess what happened is when I started modeling, you like the audience to to cheer your name and and clap and all that kind of stuff. And females always got that. And I was just like, well, how can we get, I want to feel like a little, amp my ego up a little bit, scream and holler for me a little bit. So what I had to figure out was, like on the runway, femininity for women is one thing, but the masculinity for males is another. So you had to figure out how to tread that line, real thinly, so that you can get the applause, but then fit the bill of the male. So you had to like play that game. So that's what I noticed all together. Yeah.
And at the time when you were coming up, was it more about like that thick model figure, so on and so forth? So the difference I want to say I guess obviously between the male and the females are always worried about, I need to be a certain size, I need to be a certain build. As for a male model, what did you feel that was the most thing that they were like, you have to look like this, or you have to be this much, you have to weigh this much? Did you ever
yeah. You had to be 6 foot or more. You had to be toned, slim built. That was an automatic qualification for that. You had to have a pretty smile. You had to have the swag look, but also the what I call a European style of modeling. So yeah. But you had to be 6 foot and thin for muscular. Not too muscular, but not the muscular, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. So for you, was there ever a stress point where, you like, I can't eat that?
Now, I was thin. At high school, I was skinny.
Okay.
So I was always, I fit to hit the height, but the weight thing, I was like, man, I'm standing next to these guys. I'm like, these guys are working out every day. I'm just here to have fun, But what I had to do then is I had to tweak my my runway skills to set off the look that I don't have that super masculine, super body pecs and everything. I didn't have that look because I was I was a swimmer's build. So I had to perfect my modeling technique so that I could stand my own and hold my own.
Okay, so you made to be a part of the team, but unique enough that you stood out on your own.
You got it. That's it.
Okay. and I also got to ask that because if those are the things that you're thinking of and you're moving forward and as your career and like you're only 15 years old, so your brain is obviously going a million miles a minute because now you're soaking up this industry that you're in because we have the time to do that when you're 15.
Right.
You know? Right. What was one of the things that made you nervous, like butterflies in your stomach, or you were just like, man, this is crazy?
It's the whole talking part was crazy for me. I was kind of shy, only child, so I wasn't really used to that whole speaking and all that kind of good stuff. So I just wanted to be on the runway. I just wanted to wear nice clothes and be on the runway on and off, 30 seconds. But when you get to a certain level, it comes interviews, there comes, photo shoots, there comes the whole thing because, you're traveling in the United States, overseas, different languages. It was, it was an eye-opening experience for me just because then I found out, oh, this is no game. This is a business. It's a business of looking good, but it's a business. Yeah, and it wasn't no joke. So I quickly took that formula, like everything I do. Like I gotta have fun, but there's a whole business aspect to everything that you do in order to withstanding. Yeah.
Right. So at that point, when everything's going well, you're moving forward. You got photo shoots now. Now you have to start to talk. Do you feel that made it that you were comfortable? Excuse me. You were comfortable as you went into the acting world.
Yeah, I think so because as a model, you're acting. So you had to learn. I learned that all of the people I looked up to, the movie stars, the famous models, singers, and stuff like that, they were regular people. But so you're in that industry and you're around them all the time. You just think that they're not normal.
Right.
So as I began to talk and intermingle, I was like, oh, you going to McDonald's? I'm going to McDonald's too. McDonald's for real? Eat caviar on gold plates and everything.
Okay. This is good to know. I think there's a lot of people who just have this stigma on how like that the modeling industry is. And they don't. And I always say that to my friends too. They're like, "Oh, it must have been good working with such and such person." I was like, "Yeah, it was hella great. What were they like?" Regular. I don't know. Cool me. I don't know.
Right. Exactly. Yep. Exactly.
They're like, I don't know. We smoked something. We talked. I don't know. Like, it was just cool. But
it's just their job.
Yeah. So as you're falling into, I guess, breaking the mold. Where you're now getting a little bit more comfortable with talking, because obviously that was one of your fears.
Yeah, it was. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So when you look back as knowing that was a fear, like what motivation did it give you mentally? Because you had to figure out to yourself, like, man, what the hell was I thinking this whole time?
Right.
What if I had opened my mouth? Where would I be?
Exactly, man. I mean, it just goes to show, like when you're raised or however you're raised, like it's your own mental that holds you back, no matter where you came from. It doesn't make a difference if you was in a hood or the gold spoon.
Yep.
It has nothing to do with that. It has to do with yourself, what you want to do. So I was just one of the ones who was willing to take a risk and curious and wanted to know and just had the gumption just to try it and then kind of evolve. And you find your passion, you find your way of what you want to do and how it works. So that's the biggest thing I tell everybody when I speak to the kids. Some of them want to be models and music artists to pop bottles and music videos. I'm like, okay, hold on. That's fun, but let's talk some real stuff. Let's talk the real shit. But also the ones who are shy, who won't talk. They're all in the background. And some of the most creative people, the smarter people, they just don't have that push to speak or even to act on it. So I try to reach all of them in every aspect I do. Yeah.
Okay, so this is obviously now something that you take to heart, and you decided to go, hey, look, I went through this, and I want you to know this.
Exactly.
Is it easy for you to kind of pinpoint and go, oh, there he is. That reminds me of me. Hey, come here for a second.
Yeah. Now it's very easy. It's very easy. Because even my friends and especially my family, when I tell people like, well, I used to be really shy, I didn't really want to talk. They're like, get out of here, you're lying, you fucking lying. You out here, you doing that.
Yeah.
And that little boy is still in me.
Right.
It still happens on a depending what the project is. It still happens, but now I can see it. I can feel the energy of somebody who is like either too much ego or no ego. I can see it. And I'm like, hey, let me talk to you for a second.
Yeah.
What you think?
I can smell it too. I have that instinct. I can smell and be like, oh, here we go. Hey, man. Trouble. So I know, but we need to have a conversation. But I feel like now, as you get to a mature age, you can have those conversations with people.
Yeah.
And it's so funny how what we're talking about, because I kept saying it's weird. I've been telling people this over the last few weeks, and actually the last few years. Sorry, but in the last few weeks, I've had conversations with multiple people about. Listen, nobody knows what's going on with you and going on in your head until you say something to somebody.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
So whatever you got going on in your head in the conversation you had 7 times with me, I wasn't there. I wasn't present.
Exactly. Not at all. Not at all.
Right.
And it's the same thing first when people. Oh, did I go out?
No, you're good. You're good.
Okay. It's also the same when people go out and and they think that the world is against them because this happened yesterday on the corner and they think the whole world knows it. No.
Yeah.
It's just that was a one isolated incident. You don't want that to dictate your whole personality or your next steps in life. Just because one person says something, that don't mean the whole world is.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, you got to either say something or be true to yourself. And I always say with your family in your head, because you got like 5 people in your head talking. Shut up. Everybody's quiet.
Yeah.
I'm going to have a coming to Jesus meeting. Okay, listen to me. This is
you don't want to make that one personality come out right now, y'all.
Exactly.
He's gonna need Jesus when we done with this conversation.
Exactly.
So now, as you had the career as model, do you still do any modeling?
Yeah, actually, I'm doing LA Fashion Week in September. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm performing and modeling. So
I was just about to ask that. You got the 2.0 coming out.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Yeah. To me, it's 2.0 is going to actually my new album coming out my birthday next June. Right now, I'm releasing several singles up to that to get ready for the album release. Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, when you think back to not only where modeling has taken you, where the music's taken you.
Right.
Is there one place that you went to where you didn't even know was on the map just because of your music and was like, bruh, like this place I love this place?
Man, yeah, exactly. It's a lot of places, as a matter of fact. 'Cause when I first started, I was in Baltimore, and my dance music wasn't like the hip-hop R&B genre, which is known for the East Coast. So I met with a lot of labels, and they were like, oh, your sound is really international. You need to go overseas. I'm like, okay. How do I do that? So I, went into business mode, marketing and promotions. I'm in my head, got my whole team. So I started overseas, Italy, Milan, Italy, Germany, France, Amsterdam, Dubai. So I went straight over there. So what freaked me out was I got a chance to see other cultures and how Europeans or other countries don't have blinders like Americans do. Americans want you to be cookie cutter. Like, I want you to be just like this person. But if you're too much like them, then you're rivals, or then you're copying off them. And it's just a lot of drama. But when I went overseas, like my favorite place is Dubai. Dubai is the one. It's very Americanized. It's like Las Vegas on steroids. But but I love it because the people were nice. It was a completely different culture, and they accept anything because music is music. So that's what I really loved about that. But it shocked me because I got to see like the Muslim culture and like the do's and the don'ts and what you can do and what you can't do. But yet music brought everybody together. That was amazing.
Right. Eat with your right, wait your booty with the left.
Right. Exactly.
Oh man, that actually brings me to the question is like, in a place like Dubai and some of the other places that you've seen in the world, what's one thing that's stuck in your head that you felt like if America adapted this, besides what you was talking about with the music cookie cutter, adapted to this in society, it would be such a better place.
I think Americans are more judgmental than any other country, any other culture I've seen. Even though I'm American, of course, but I think that if America, we can stop judging so much as to what people do, say, how they do, how they look, what's good, what's bad. I think that's the biggest thing because a lot of countries don't do that. We don't. A lot of countries don't care if you have $1 versus $1 million. It's all about being happy of what you got. You know, the poorest of the poor are still happy. They don't have anything, but they're happy. And Americans, we would fucking pull our hair out if we just like became homeless and poor because we're set to like succeed only, and we only judge by success by what we have. And a lot of countries are not like that.
And I think that I love that you said that because it even starts with our sports. You have to be the best.
Yeah.
From day one, everything you have to be the best. You need to do this, and then on top of that, you have to have a bag because society says that you got to pay for the hair, the nails, this, to that, and all that other stuff, but you still got to bring in 6 figures. And at the end of the day, if you're pulling in 6 figures, you got to be working 12 to 14 hours a day in order to make that happen, but still be there to be present. And I feel like when you go like countries when I was in Italy, where we were staying, it bugged me out where I'm like, I just was at this store like an hour ago, and I came back and it's closed.
Yeah.
I was in the middle of the afternoon. I was like,
yeah.
Lunch
time we shut down.
They're like, nah, it's nap time. We just took a break. You do what? What? He's like,
that's pretty out too.
You have to come back in like an hour or two. And he's trying to speak to me in English as best as he could, and they wouldn't sell nothing. It was like a union. They were like a union. Hey man, drop the tools. Nobody.
Exactly. That's
so
pretty out too. I was surprised. I was like, y'all shut down for a couple of hours a day for break to rest. I mean, to
rest. Have a nap.
Exactly. What is that? Yeah.
I was like, we just wandered after that because it's like you couldn't get nothing, and you think in Italy you can get a coffee at least. No, no, you can get on the bus. You can get the
right.
bus.
Didn't it freak you out? Like you're going down the street, everything's open, and you turn around and look, everything is shut. I'm like, did everybody go out of business? What happened? What's going on?
It was the craziest thing because everything was hustle and bustle like a few hours before, and then it was just like few cars in the street, and like as a black man, I'm thinking like, oh, see, they playing this Walking Dead nonsense, and I'm dying, and I need to figure this out.
Right.
Because I'm the black dude, so I'm dying first, so I guess I'm gonna be the most dramatic scene right away to get it started. And it was just crazy. So we just walked around, and then I think the only thing that was open was like the mall. They have this kind of mall store area for the tourists. Tourist area. Like, let's put all of y'all over here while we rest.
Exactly, yeah.
And I was like, do they get paid extra for not taking the 2 hours off? Because I know in the States people would lose their mind.
Right. Yeah.
And when you think about all the other places, now I like this because now we're looking at all different things and different cultures. When you are traveling, was there like a food from a culture that you tried that you were kind of like, man, this is hella good. Now you come back to America, you're looking for a certain restaurant from that culture.
Got the funniest story about Italy. Okay, so I'm in Italy, and I think it was I was like looking. I didn't know the menu. It was all Italian, blah 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 blah. And I'm like, okay, I saw lasagna. I said, okay, cool. I want lasagna. So I ordered lasagna. The guy, really, really nice, came out. So instead of the lasagna was this thick, it was like this thick. So I was like, what is that? He was like, that's lasagna. He said, that's really you see, you fucking Americans, you want extra, extra, extra. And he said, that's real lasagna. I was like, man, get out of here. I said, I want lasagna. Like, where is the meat? Where is all the cheese and stuff. He said, just taste it. And I tasted, and I was like, man, this is the best fucking lasagna ever. And it was this thin versus a whole thick stick. I was just like, what is the hell? Man, he opened my eyes. He said, Americans all want super size, extra.
Mm-hmm.
He said, that's not real.
The only thing with me was every time we were there, they thought I played for the basketball team.
Oh, yeah. They called me P. Diddy. They kept saying, P. Diddy. Oh, yeah, okay.
Yeah. That's all they know. It's funny. I was kind of like, no. But, yeah, they're very friendly. And I guess a lot of Africans come from, go to Italy. And it was weird to see that they were the ones that were panhandling in Italy for the most part. And then the fact that people were still nice to them. Like, there was dudes outside the bakery, people were giving them food. Where out here, it's like, people would just walk right past you 9 out of 10 times, and you find that one diamond in the rough. But people were content, and when the dude got his, a little food or he got a little change, he bounced.
Exactly.
Thank you.
Yeah, exactly. We judge a lot here, and the funny thing about that, you talking about Africans, because I got the name Septimius because Septimius was the first Roman emperor from Africa.
Wow.
And that's where I got it from. Because the real Roman emperor was named Septimius Severus. From like the modern day Libya. Yeah. So yeah.
Hey.
There's a little black history fact.
No, but that's great. That's great. And then when you think of like all the places that you've been and your music is touched, and where's your favorite place to perform?
Ibiza in Spain, man. Only because Ibiza's all about dancing. They open 24 hours, like 3 days straight, no stopping. So it wore me out though. But it was like I just couldn't believe it. It was a whole island of just non-stop 24-hour partying.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was my best though.
My boy Moto House, he's out in Ibiza quite a bit. He produces and DJs and so on and so forth. So he always talks about Ibiza. I was like, okay.
Yeah.
So that might be something that where it's like,
Exactly. Yeah. Go to
Oh,
Barcelona.
I put dance music. I put dance metric over here. My dyslexia kicked in. So it's dance music.
Right.
I'm not trying to create a whole new genre.
It's enough of them. That's enough.
So now I got to ask you. I'm gonna go back to your childhood again. So, who do you favor more, your mother or your father, based off of who you are with your personality?
I would say, well, I was raised by my mother, but I would say I'm a lot like my father, because knowing my father, we are so much alike that it's unreal, even though I never grew up with him. we think alike, we act alike, we believe the same like, we have the same mannerisms. It's crazy. When they talk about DNA and genetics and stuff, it's crazy because I've never been around that man in my whole entire life.
Huh.
Yeah, it's really weird.
Now I gotta ask, like, what was that like as you're kind of, like, adapting to all these things where you're like, oh my God, like, that is my daddy.
Right.
But I haven't spent a lot of time with him. What was that like? Even just mentally for you, what was that like?
Yeah, it was kind of hard for me as a child, only because, I kind of raised myself, per se, because my mom, she always worked. We were like, middle to low class, but she was an alcoholic. So if she wasn't working, she was drunk and then doing her thing. So I was always left alone. So I always say my acting career started in my childhood because I had to make my environment. I had to, become whatever I thought. But it also lended me to like dream and make dreams reality because I had no boundaries. I wasn't given any discipline, no restrictions. I was allowed to just to do good or bad, but I was allowed to do that. So when I as I got older, because of the stories my mother would tell about my father, I never liked my father. But then as I got older, I was like, oh, that's that kind of, that that relationship stuff. I was a product of that. My father, he got his thing, she had her thing, now I got my thing. But I never really formed that bond with him, even though we talk maybe once or twice a year. But I still never felt that bond with him.
Okay. So let drop some gems on me about just your childhood and what you had to go through mentally and all that. Especially with what was it like to see your mother with drinking? And I mean, does it make sense now though to you that the part of that drinking was because what she was probably going through?
Yeah. That now first when I was young I didn't understand. I just thought she was crazy. She just a drunk because she wanted to be a drunk. But as I got older, I'm like, okay, well she must have been going through some things. So then I started to try to find out the things she was going through. Part of it was my father, when it was their whole dynamics and everything, and then she never recovered from it. So that kind of like took her to her demise. Yep.
Okay, and that's is she doing better now today?
No, my mother passed away when I was 18. I've been on my own since I was 18.
Oh wow! So, my condolences, man. Sorry to hear that.
I understand. Thank you. I appreciate it. Yeah.
Well, no, I mean, it's crazy because I mean, I don't think a lot of people understand when you're going through those kind of things that you have to be in survival mode at such a young age. And you could have went right or left. You might not have been sitting here with us because there's a jail cell for every black man apparently in the United States of America.
Most definitely.
So for you, watching and having to go through that, do you feel at times, have you ever done therapy to
Well, all right. So let me tell you patiently, real tea. So, like when I was growing up, it's because I didn't have any boundaries or guidelines. I got in a lot of trouble. So once my mom passed away, that turned into anger. So I was an angry, like early adult. So I was, always in, getting locked up, fighting or angry, just zapping out on people. And I didn't even reach the therapy until I was in jail one time. Like I think I did like a 1 year stint, and I was in jail. They made me see a therapist and stuff, and they were like, all this anger is coming from the fact that your mother passed away. And that was the only person in your life. And I was like, nah, she did her thing. I was doing my thing. And they said, no, stop. You were able to close certain doors in your mind and move on, but the doors were still there. You didn't move out the house. You're still in the house. And they was like, you need to stop and open up those doors. And I was like, oh, wow, what? So then as I started to accept the fact that all of my anger and my quick temper and all that kind of stuff, and it's because my mother was an alcoholic, her words, she was real smart, my real sharp tongue. So any kind of word would make me just trigger me instantly. So I had to learn that. So it took me until about, I say I didn't grow up until I was like 22. Yeah, but it took me about 4 years to really get it together. And then it took a toll on me. But I could have went complete left because all my friends were my hood neighborhood friends, all of them. And then I had to somehow, like my father, I don't know how, but was able to like transform my mind to turn it off and turn. Yep.
So you said,
you good. That's what saved me, though. Yep, that's what saved me. Is the fact that
I hate to say it.
No. Well, yeah, no. What saved me was I was able to turn off the hate, the anger and everything, and turn on the possibility of a different life. And I got that from my father's the same way. I don't know where I got it from, but that saved me. Yeah, because otherwise, all my friends. And most of them in jail or dead now. So, yeah.
Okay. I mean, see, that's why I like these conversations, because if we go with the same old cookie cutter question, okay, so you worked with what's her name? You know what I mean? And we'll get to that. We have a few minutes before we can get to all those things, but it makes sense to me now when you listen to your music. It makes sense to me now when you think about the path that you were taking, because I feel there's similarities in what you're telling me and growing up and from what I did, and I understand why multiple different things attracted to you to spend something to where you are today. Like the modeling thing was great because I think I'm just putting this out there. Did you feel like obviously knowing what's in your head, that having to deal with your mom, like did you ever feel like you couldn't talk to her and that's why a lot of the times you kind of like this when you just wanted to just do something?
I think mostly because I grew up alone, so I wasn't talking to anyone, no cousins, aunts, uncles, it was just me and my alcoholic mother in the other room. So I was just, I didn't talk much.
Right.
Yeah, so that's what it was. And then when I started to talk, I started to see that there were people like you said, like me, like normal, average problems, ups and downs like me, and I was just like, oh, well, let me tell you more about me. Let me, and guess what happened to me, blah, 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 blah,
Right.
That's what broke me out of my shell,
And then I gotta ask this though. Seeing your mother growing up as an alcoholic, what's your relationship with alcohol?
Man, okay, so my father's also alcoholic too, so for a long time, I would not drink. I don't think I drank until I was about 22, I think, because I saw the ugly side of it. Mm-hmm. And then, once I was in college and I was with a bunch of white people in San Diego, and, I was just like, oh, wow, let's go to Tijuana, tequila. I started drinking. So now I drink normally now. But one thing I'm learning and I'm working on myself is if I go past a certain limit, I'm either a really fun drunk or I'm a really mean drunk. And a mean drunk is something that you said to me or triggered me, and I will just go that path. So now I'm to the point where, like, I get a certain couple drinks, I'm like, I'm cool, no more, if I'm in a nice environment. But if I'm not in a nice environment, I'm gonna see y'all, I'm gone.
Right.
Yeah, because I had to learn that. Yeah.
Moderation.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
So now, as you all these things are going, you're learning more about yourself. You're now taking on music. You're traveling the world. You're getting into acting. Let's talk about the first moment where you had an opportunity to be like, I'm either going to audition. And when was the switch that you're like, I'm going to be an actor?
The actor happened 2 years ago. Well, because of COVID, maybe 3 years ago now. So, I created the brand Septimius, all about the Roman emperor. All my songs talk about the real Septimius and the dance music, blah, 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 blah. So this guy hit me up on my YouTube music video, and said, hey, what do you know about Septimius? And I was like, Septimius is my blah, 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 my brand name, my music artist, blah, 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 blah. And he was like, well, I just wrote a book about the real Septimius, and have you ever did any acting? And I was like, well, I would say yeah, because in order to be a music artist and a model, I've been acting almost all my life. And he was like, okay. He said, well, would you be interested in being the lead for this new series? I'm turning my book into a series for HBO. Would you be interested in doing it? I was like, sure. Then my business mind clicked in. So I was like, okay. So you have a book? Okay. So let's negotiate my face on the book cover. Can you switch it out? He said, yeah. I said, cool. Can my music be the soundtrack for the series? Okay, yeah, let's sign that. Okay, and then let's talk about me as the lead actor to sign that. So I had 3 contracts out of something I've never even knew about acting at all. Only thing I know is I built this brand called Septimius the Great for the last 10 years, and I got to play myself as a music artist, and I had no fear of it, so I just went for it. So, and we did some teasers that's now on YouTube. If you put in Severus, the Black Caesar, several teasers to come out for the pictures that we did with HBO. And it was phenomenal. It's so much easier actually than music.
Right.
It's just easy. I mean, it's just remembering lines and things like that. That's a challenge though, but you get to do it over and over and over and over and over again until it's right, and you take the one and edit it. I'm good. So right. I like it. I enjoy it. But that all happened a few years ago. And since then, I got another TV program coming out called Slay on Amazon Prime. Worked on another one called The Forbidden, Double Cross. All of these are going to be on between Netflix and Amazon Prime. So it's just, I enjoy it. I really enjoy it. Yeah.
But so now you and this is just within the last few years with COVID.
Right. Exactly.
That's crazy. Right. You must have been the person who's booked the most shit in 3 or 4 years.
And I tell you, those 2 years of doing nothing transformed me to a whole other level because I couldn't physically do anything, but because I have a business mind for marketing and promotion, I was lining up, like I said, as a kid, I dreamed about something. Well, what about this? And I do it. So now I dreamed for like 2 years, and I was putting stuff in motion because I couldn't move anywhere. But hey, let me lay the foundations and see what happens.
When we let freedom reign, let freedom reign.
And now I'm overwhelmed. I done put too many pots on the stove. They're about to boil over. I'm overwhelmed. I'm like, what the fuck did I just do?
But see, now thinking of it that way, when you actually think of that way, because now I believe you have all three wheels in motion. When does the fourth wheel kick in? What else do you have that you see? You rub your head. What else is coming up that you're going to be doing?
Well, what I always wanted to do was the educational component of my what I call brand is just like me, somebody who had no knowledge on it of music or acting or modeling. These young kids, even adults, want to do these things, but you have to do it right. And I don't want, I do so many shows when people come to me and say, oh my God, you inspired me, because me and my boys, we was VIP pop. I was like, first of all, that whole life of a music artist and stuff, that's only 20% if you want to be successful. The other 80%, you need to learn. It's like becoming a PhD of music or whatever. Yeah. And if you're not ready to crash course on that, you're just going to be your local hometown favorite or a one-hit wonder, and it's not going to go anything. So now what I want to do is I want to create a project or program where I can go and speak to people in high schools and colleges who are interested in the arts, and just hear my story out, and then just take it on from the business side of things because
right.
it's not fun. It's not fun.
Hey, I'm down.
If
you got something and you need another person or a body to roll with you, let me know.
Oh, sure. Okay.
I'm over for that.
Like that. Yeah, I'm gonna do that. And you in LA, right?
No, I'm in actually Vancouver, Canada, but I'm close to LA. So we're north.
Okay.
Right.
Not too far from Seattle, right? Across the border.
Yeah, right. Literally like 2.5 hour drive. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, I would love to do that. That's what I've been talking to my team about getting into high school and colleges to talk about the arts. Of course, I call it. My slogan is education with entertainment because that's how kids learn now. You got to get some kind of they'll stick. Yeah.
I mean, with everything they have in their hand that they can keep doing, it's entertaining to them.
Exactly.
In some way. So yeah, that's actually a great way to think of the thing. Like think of it and move it forward. So yeah, if any way that I can help somehow, some way, Lefty knows how to get a hold of me or whatever.
I'm gonna hold you to it.
And hell yeah, I wouldn't say it if I didn't mean it. I swear to God. But. So I like that. So I don't mind doing such giving back because I remember when I was a kid, it took a guidance counselor for me to do certain things where I had to kind of go, yeah, that's probably not right. It took a lot of other people. Well, it was crazy because we were the bad kids and they were taking us to New York Knicks games. I was just like, what? Like, I'm gonna stay bad. Like, dude, I've been to 4 games already this year. Like,
right.
No, but I really respect what you're doing and the way that your process, your thought process is as far as even just giving back to the community and being able to go spread that knowledge to a lot of kids because technically in our society of people of color, we're not told about little things like life insurance instead of playing the lottery tickets.
And credit.
And all that kind of stuff, right? So, I mean, one thing that I've done in the past of once, you get this free money and you realize you got to pay it back is, I try my best. I don't even try not to use my debit card anymore. I don't use debit card. I'll say, okay, well, I have this much in my account. So I'll go use the credit card and make a payment of that.
Right.
What I spent rounded up to the dollar. Like, so if it's like, $225.48, now I'm putting a $230 payment.
Right. Exactly. Exactly. And it makes
right?
a difference.
So, and it took a while to do that. I had a friend who taught me that, white dude, but he taught me. And because, like, nobody in our communities, the little things in our communities don't learn because there's 10 other things that we're struggling with that can't be in front line for what we're taught.
Exactly.
And he paid his rent with his credit card. I'm like, yeah, but don't they charge you extra for that? He's like, yeah, 2%, but I still make my points. He travels all year. He does not use debit card for nothing. And he's got points out there. He flies all over the place. I think you probably seen him in Dubai. You know what I mean?
Right.
But yeah, so when you think about that, when you're going and you're educating these kids and you want to talk to these kids, what's the biggest thing you want to instill in them?
The biggest, it's kind of cliche, but I mean, I hear a lot of people saying that, just never stop dreaming, don't give up, those are certain things. But it's actually true because if you allow a person to dream about anything, whether it's stupid or popular or odd or, too unique or disgusted or whatever, if they just dream and just try whatever, you find out what your passion is. And once you find your passion, you'll put 100, 200, 300% into it. But you got to find that passion. Not because I want to do this because I'm supposed to, or I'm going to do this because it's most popular, or do this because all my friends do it. If you find your own and just dream about the weirdest thing it could be and just do it, you'd be surprised that 300% you put into being something that you don't really want to do, to being something you really want to do, you catapult yourself into a whole nother level of life.
Yep. It's true. It's absolutely true. I just saw your shirt, man. I just saw the color of the shirt.
Oh.
You about to go into the Lion King. Look at that.
I think
now when you see, you just said that, and it kind of hit me because I think people always say, "Oh, I want to do things. I want to help out, and I do it for a tax credit. I do it in it." But you said you have to be passionate about it. When you think of the one thing that you're passionate about the most, what is it?
I get that question a lot because it's not music, it's not acting, it's not the modeling. It's really just my most passionate thing that I've learned is to be creative and to be unique because I want to be remembered. So what I do is I'll choose something that I get 4 million no's on. So I can take those 4 million people that said no to me and turn it around like, oh shit, he really did it. And that's what drives me. That's my complete passion. It could be anything. I could be running for the next president. I could be, astronaut. I could be anything because I dream like that. But my passion is to take something where someone said I can't do, then I am going to be determined to do what I do. Not saying I'm going to do it perfect, but I'm going to do it though.
Right. Yo, I'm still thinking back to what you went through as a child. You have a smile on your face, and what gives you that strength to continue to be who you are like that and be like that?
Yeah.
Look, I'm sad, and I'm a funny. That ain't even my problem.
Man, what the funny thing is? I have this new acting coach, Bernard Hiller, out of L.A. So he does all the celebrities, Idris Elba and Samuel Jackson, Leo DiCaprio, and all them. So in the master class, he asked me with the group, and he said, Septimius, if you laugh or smile one more time when I ask you about your childhood, I'm going to punch you in the face. He said, if you keep glossing over it, he said, that's some serious shit. He said, you have some trauma. You got to deal with that. He said, but the thing about it is because you have that trauma and because you're able to control that, that's what's going to make you successful. I said, because I'm not a product of my trauma. I don't let it hold me back. So I have to acknowledge it, use it, and then move forward. So for you to say that, I've always been like this, always smiling, because to me, it always can be worse. Yeah.
It's crazy, bro, because I'm sitting here going like, Yeah, and it reminds me a lot of myself. Like, I feel like, you know, like, people, my sleep here, but big sleep set it up. Some people on set, I've known them for 10 years, and they'll still walk past me like, hey, Smiley. And I was like,
Right. Exactly.
so,
Exactly. I have
when
no
I'm
idea.
here, I'm feeling like I've been there. I've been through that. So hell yeah. Actually, I'm gonna get back. I'm gonna get. So you
Speaking of therapy session, come on.
musician. No, I mean it's a conversation. I don't write down any questions. I don't even know what I'm gonna ask you when I start. To be honest with you, I never write 3 questions down with people.
That's what's up. Yeah.
Never do.
That's what's up.
So I have to process in my own head how I would conduct myself and do things in the future, and from just have in my past.
Right.
Being brought up a certain way, you know, having to walk with that smile on your face because, you know, you don't want to let people know really how bad it is or if you're struggling, and, you know, and then like I said, once again, the weight of black culture, if you go to a therapist or something like that, something's wrong with you, that's for white folk, blah, blah, blah.
Right.
And then I'm thinking about your music and who you are. And then I think, okay, in hearing what your music, and then the messages that you put out in your music, if you could work with 3 people, 3 artists that are alive, who would they be?
Well, will.i.am is my go-to because one, my sound is like him, but also outside of the music, he's such a visionary. I mean, he's just the things he did with Black Eyed Peas and technology and blah 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 blah. Amazing guy, amazing. I would love to work with him. Just to even meet him. But then I'm kind of old school. Like I want to like Barry Gordy. You know what I'm saying? Somebody who introduced Motown, some new sound that nobody even knew about, talked about, didn't accept. But he just like made it into something huge and long-standing, which is a part of my whole, you know, my whole gift of being who I am. So will.i.am, Barry Gordy, and I would say it's a lot of them. You know, like I guess I would say, you know, between Prince and Michael Jackson, I would say Prince only because he didn't give a fuck. Prince didn't care. He didn't care. You know, it wasn't about him. It wasn't about just the music. He just didn't care. I like that. He tried everything, no matter how weird it was. You know, music was weird. The clothes was weird. The whole brand. He talked weird. Everything was weird. But I respect stuff like that. Yeah. So those my 3. Yeah.
Okay. So now let's move on into the acting world.
Okay.
Who is out there dead or alive that you would love to work with?
Well, I really respect Will Smith.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Will Smith is someone. Well, you know.
Careful though, he might slap the shit out of you though.
Well, yeah, and I would too.
I'm playing. I'm joking.
Hey, no, when he did that, I was there with him. I was like, okay, something triggered, like I used to be, and wow, oh my God, did I just do that? So I understand him.
I never looked at it that way. What if there was something that triggered him to do that outside of Jada? Maybe the pressure.
Yeah, it's something triggered him. Yeah, something triggered. And then, you know, I say will.i.am because I smile all the time. I'm always in a good mood. I do everything. You know, the acting part is fun. Everything is fun. I did the music like he did the music thing. He was good at that too. But as he got older, he started playing like real in-depth roles. I think that it opened up something within himself that he always was able to shut that door on. And I think just like the recent information, when he got to the point it was too much, he probably stepped out of himself, going back to another point of time, and was a whole different person out of his normal character that we know of. You know what I'm saying? So that's why when I saw him, I was like, well, yeah, it's more to it than that. You know, I saw Chris's side, I saw Will's side, so no, something more to it. Yeah.
Yeah, I think you see the outside of leading up to it, we can all speculate or say whatever it is, but he's under a lot of pressure just that night, even just for that win.
Yeah.
Hadn't been nominated in a long time.
Yeah.
Or in a while.
Exactly.
His whole life has been in the news for the last 2-3 years during the pandemic and just before that. Yeah, I mean, who knows? I mean, at this point, let's move on from it. I don't want to talk about it anymore.
But yeah, I like him as an
cool.
actor also.
I said it for the joke aspect of it, but you just never know what's going on in someone's head, and especially as we're having this conversation, and we started it that way.
Yeah.
I think that it started that way for a reason, for us to have a conversation quickly about this, which leads me to one more question before I ask the last question.
Go for it. Mm-hmm.
I'm a firm believer of everything happens for a reason. Has there been ever something in your life that you were like, man, I can't even believe that happened, and then it turns out to be one of the most positive things for your career?
Let me think. I gotta think of what character I'm playing. Let me see. The acting, with music. Let me think. Or just me myself. You know what? I would say, going back to me as a child, the most impactful one is because, like I told you, I didn't grow up, with a parent. Mother was alcoholic, didn't have a father. But her passing was my only figure in life, and I think that if without that, I don't think my drive of finding my passion, finding myself, doing things, opening to who I am today, if I didn't go through that. Because I think that her passing allowed me to be more in tune with who I was and did not know without any training or guidelines, to be okay to try something and try to almost searching. It kept me searching. That's what I think. Without that, I would never do it. Yeah, I think if I had a perfect upbringing, family, Christmas dinners and blah 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 blah. I would just coast along until you're a little older, and then you find yourself. But I was forced to find myself at 18 years old to, okay, you either shit or get off the pot, because now you're on your own. And without that, I don't think I'll be here. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And this question might sound weird, but I'm listening to you, man, and I want to ask this question. When's the last time you really shed some tears and broke down?
I knew you was going to ask it.
No, because I had to, because, I mean, like I said, it took me a minute, and when I did it, I felt great. So to see the smile on your face, I got to ask, like, when was there had to have been a moment where you just was like, God, whether it was your mother's death or after the therapy being in jail, that moment that you had to purge all that weight, when was the last time?
Man, and the funny thing is, my mother passed away. I didn't cry. I didn't cry for years. Never went to the grave site. I was 18. I think the first time I went back to the grave site, I was like maybe 30. I think I just turned about 5 years ago. Yeah, it was. Yeah, it took me a long time, but the cry, my relationship. Because what happened is, because I lost my mother, I have nobody to answer to, blah, 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 blah. It's me and only me. When I get into a relationship or have friendship, that's sacred to me, because that hole I had is filled with friends, and friends. So when I get a relationship, I hold on tight. And if when that relationship came to an end, I think the last time I actually cried was probably about 3 years ago at the end of my relationship, because I was like, oh, fuck, not another one. You know what I'm saying? And that took me down, but things like that rejuvenates me, because I hit another high in life. Right.
Because, I mean, would you consider that a little bit like fear of abandonment because of being?
I had that. Yeah, I had that. Yeah.
And then it almost sparks the fire, because you need to work twice as hard because you don't want to think about it.
Exactly. Yeah. And that's exactly what I do. I go into hyper speed mode to just not even think about it. Yeah. But when I have that moment, I go down. I go down like a baby, my thumb in my mouth curled up. I'm down. I'm down. Yeah. I snap out of it and move on. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Sounds familiar?
Oh, bro, like this ain't even your anymore, man.
I see you thinking.
Sometimes it takes that to remind you that's what I'm saying. I've been so blessed, like, to have people on, like even with Brandon earlier, to hear things that his thought process on things. You know, it might not be, you know, what everybody's thinking, but to understand how a person ticks is more important because you'll know exactly how to, you know, talk to them and receive what they're giving you. You know, and there's times where something says something, like we're human, so something triggers me to go back to being like, do not forget to do your work. Do not forget to remind yourself, okay, it's not your fault. These things happen. Boom, boom, boom. But when you find someone, like what I'm hearing what you're saying, that's what I think everybody needs to hear out there, especially with mental health and so on and so forth, that you're not alone.
Right.
The people might not be the same, but there's so many similarities.
Exactly. Yeah.
So that's why when you see me, I'm like,
I see you.
So I really appreciate you just being candid and being real and honest. So I mean, I'm the lucky one, to be honest, when it comes down to stuff like this. So and being able to do this on a weekly basis.
I appreciate it. Yeah, that's good. That's good.
And I feel like you're that guy that when you see a child, you motivate them in a sense of like to sit and spend the time to talk to them. So if you look at everything you're doing now and what it takes for you to stay focused, what would you say to a young person that just wants to know, like, hey, I want to get in the industry, da da da. How do you stay focused?
Man, it's a bad thing to say, but to me, it's my reality because what I've been through. I always say, like, nothing lasts forever because nothing's left forever in my life. So what I do is I live my life as though it's my last day. So my days are packed with no matter what it is, I live my life as it's my last day. I think everybody should do that because at any moment, all this could be gone.
Right.
And you can't take it with you. So just do the best you can and live life the right way and enjoy it. Enjoy. And then I would tell a kid, don't look at YouTube videos and music videos about popping bottles and hanging with your homies and smoking and you know, and the women all like, that's just plain, you know, but you have to live your life, you know, the way you want to live. And that's not productive. You got to be productive at it. Yeah.
Right. I love that. I love that answer. And last question. Now I'll let you get started.
I can talk all day.
How I like to end things all the time is just to understand who you are and how you would describe yourself. And the question is, who is the real Septimius?
The real Septimius. The real Septimius, I would say, it's a person. It's a person that still is in touch with his little boy side, you know, of wanting to learn, eager, curious, creative, and unique. But Septimius is someone who just won't give up. I'm very perseverant. I mean, I do not give up. If there's something that I want to go for, I'm going to go for. And Septimius is someone who will not back down from it. No matter what the adversity is, I'm going to think about another angle to come back around because I'm coming back.
I love that. I love it. I mean, I love your energy. I love your vibe. Like I said, I'm lucky. I feel like I'm one of the luckiest dudes. Like people are like, oh man, it must be so fun. No, it's fucking exciting. It's great because you get to realize that there's so many other people out there who are pushing hard and working to live their dream, man. It seems like you're living it and you're loving it. So I just want to say once again, man, thank you so much for your time. I wasn't playing when I said like, yo, definitely hit me up for anything that you're doing, or if I could help out with talking with the kids or going to do stuff. If you're more than welcome, I'll hit you up and send you my map, or you can get it from Leslie or whoever.
Okay.
And yeah, man, I'm open and I'm down. I'm down. Good vibes, good people.
That's what I'm actually going to do some marketing for my new project in Vancouver. So we'll definitely connect on that. Yep.
Yeah. Done and done. Good. Yeah, we good.
I appreciate it, man. Appreciate it.
All right. Yo, for those of y'all who just watched this is Septimius, y'all. He's a dance music artist, he's a model and an actor. You know what I mean? He's a triple threat. That's literally what to say. It's like it just works, it flows, great personality. Please follow him at Septimius the Great. It's here, you can look at it. It will definitely be on the post. If you haven't seen the full interview, you're able to watch it again. But yeah, man, support him, man. And like I know we didn't get to a lot of the artists that you worked with in the past, but before I say bye, let's give them a quick little list of the people that you worked with as musicians.
Oh man, sure. I mean, Fantasia, Lil Kim. I'm getting ready to work with some people from Kanye's team. I mean, it's that question goes. I don't know. It's so many because they're regular people to me. So it's like I don't remember like, oh, that's such and such. I'm like, oh yeah, blah 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 blah. You know.
Hey, that's a good start.
Exactly.
What's dropped on us. So those of y'all will have to go back. I believe I do have some information on that in the bio. But don't forget, he goes by the name of Septimius. Please support him. Please make sure if he's in your area to go check him out. This is Hollywood North Radio. That is Septimius. Septimius, thank you so much, man, for coming on. And once again, the doors are open. You got keys, so next time, please let us know anytime you're doing something, and I'd love to have you back. When we're back in the studio, and I don't have the big king mirror behind me, you know what I'm saying?
Thank you, man. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Absolute pleasure, my brother. Take
All right.
care.
Take care.
All right. Yes. Enjoy your Saturday.
You too, buddy. All right.
That's Septimius, everybody. Yeah, man, this is Hollywood North Radio. What a great show. I've really had a great time today having these conversations with Brandon and Septimius. Like I keep saying, it's crazy. We've been doing this for almost 4 years, and a couple of years have been in my basement living room, just having a conversations with people, and it's amazing how I was affected by these conversations today, in a sense of understanding that, you're not alone. Just always remember that, people. Like, just always remember you're not alone for however you're feeling, whatever's going on in your head. No one knows until you say something. Please say something if you feel it's going to affect you in a negative way. Yeah, you just got to be there for one another, and I believe these conversations help, especially for me as well. Don't forget, the evening experience, Max 357, Miss Sunshine, everybody who joined us today, I really appreciate y'all. Once again, I'd like to say, big ups to my guests today, Brandon T. Jackson and Septimius. We'll see you guys next week right here on Hollywood North Radio, where the celebrities come to play. I am your host, Big Sleep. There is DJ Quiet Storm. There is Nene and John Rozier and Kai Stewart that make up the team for Hollywood North Radio. This is Hollywood North Radio, where the celebrities come to play. We'll see you guys next week. Same bad time, same bad channel. Peace. Be safe out there, everybody. And drink water. The heat wave. Peace.